Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. We'll discuss fundamentals of flight, fifth unit, right? So sorry, it is not fifth unit. Fifth unit already saw discussed, right? So fifth unit already saw discussed. So we'll discuss fundamentals of flight, third unit. Okay. So third unit refers to basic aircraft structures. What is that? Basic aircraft structures. So almost from past 3 months, we are discussing this aircraft structures. So already we divided this fundamentals of flight. Observe this fundamentals of flight. Fundamentals of flight. So how many specializations we have? Like how many specializations we are talking about? Fundamentals of flight or any aeronautical engineering, you can divide it into like 4 parts, right? One is aircraft structures. Second one is aircraft propulsion. Third one is aerodynamics. Fourth one is flight mechanics and control, right? So I hope you remember this. Already we discussed so many times. So many times we discussed these things. So just now directly I will go to the aircraft structures. Structures, right? So structure, this is very important for any system. So generally we are talking about our aircraft, right? This is our system. For example, if you see this duster, so they are using here wood. That is one structure. They are using wood. They can use plastic also. Plastic, wood. If you want to fabricate this duster, generally there are two metals, like two materials, we can say that, not metals, two materials, like one is plastic, one is wood. You can use, that is one of the structure, right? So what about coming to our aircraft? Just coming to our aircraft, which type of structures you will use? So this entire class, if you observe this class, so this class will revolve around what are the structures, why you have to use composites, why you are using composites. Yes. So why we are using, like for example, why the structures are very important. So for example, here you have wood, right? Here you have wood and kind of iron, right? So this is fabricated with wood and iron. So just think about it. If you use, in place of this iron, if you use cheap plastic, if you use kind of cheap plastic, what will happen? So that lifetime of that, the lifetime of this structure will be very less, right? So you have to give some good amount of, like some good strength when you are fabricating any system. You have to give some sufficient amount of strength materials, right? Yes. Are you with me, everyone? So for example, if you take about aircrafts, if you talk about re-entry vehicles, already we discussed what is re-entry vehicles and these things. Re-entry vehicles, maybe the aerodynamics and flight mechanics are common, but structures, coming to structures, structure for these re-entry vehicles and structure for aircraft, it will vary. Why? Because re-entry vehicles means when this space shuttle in this re-entry phase, it will feel lot of temperature, right? So this structure should withstand this re-entry temperature. This structure should withstand re-entry temperature. But for our aircraft, no need, right? So first we will see what are the different type of, for example, if this is my aircraft wing, this is my aircraft wing. If this is my aircraft wing, why we need structure? For example, when aircraft is flying, so definitely wing will produce lift, right? Wing is producing lift force and drag force, right? Wing is producing lift force and drag force. Because of these forces, moments will create. Because of these forces, moments will create. Because of these moments and forces, there are a lot of stresses will form on this aircraft wing. There are a lot of stress will form, stress, strain. So we will discuss what is meant by stress. So that's why I am saying just why it is important for stress. What is meant by stress? Just take some small elemental bar. You are applying some axial force, both sides. Some force, axial force. Right? Some steel bar, you can take it a steel bar, stainless steel bar. So you are applying tensile force on both sides, right? So what will happen? Just think this, like, yes, here we are talking about some basic course, so we are talking about some small bar. If you go to that third year or final year, there you will understand what are the different type of forces acting on aircraft wing and aircraft tail. Okay, what are the different type of stresses? Yes, are you getting? So we are discussing some basics, right? So what is stress here? What is stress? I'm asking what is stress? Yes, don't think about that stress, what you are feeling. So I'm asking just technically what is stress here. If you apply tensile forces on some metallic bar, what will happen? Just take this cut section XX. Yes, if you take that cut section like this, XX, because of this force at this cut section, it will elongate in this direction, right? Then what about this material will do? It will produce same counter force, right? At that time only it will withstand, otherwise it will break. Yes, this metallic bar will go into failure, like this bar will go into, that is nothing but structural failure. So you can say this at this cut section also, everywhere, somewhere you can take it X1, everywhere that metallic bar, it will produce same counter force, right? Are you getting? So this resistance force is also equal to F only. So stress you can define as, so you can take stress you can define as, we will notate with sigma. This is nothing but this restoring force, that is force only. How much force you are applying on that steel bar? How much force you are applying on that steel bar? That F divided by S, cross sectional area. What is that? Cross sectional area. You can take, this is, for example, if this is square, you can take it as square metallic bar. So you can take it as cross sectional area square. Already we defined what is cross section when we are discussing aerofoil. So aerofoil is nothing but cross section of wing, right? So like that, cross section of this is maybe rectangular or square. So you can take cross sectional area. So yes, you don't worry, just this is like basic course only, don't worry. So everything what we are discussing here, everything we will apply all these principles in for aircrafts, all these logics for aircraft, right? So we have one more course completely dedicated to aircraft structures 1 and aircraft structures 2. Yes, so don't worry. So these are the only basics. Yes, Just listen, understand carefully. Yes, stress you can define as force per unit area, right? Stress you can define as unit force per unit area. So, what about, is there any types of stresses? Types of stresses? Yes? Is there any types of stresses? So, there are three types of stresses. Three types. What are those? Three types of stresses. One is tensile, tensile stress. Second one is compressive stress. Third one is shear stress. What about third one? It is shear stress. Yes. Tensile stress. So, you are giving here, we already discussed, right? Here you are giving tensile force. So, you can say the stress formed in this cross section, you can nothing but tensile stress. Yes. What about compressive stress? Name it says. See this. Name only, the definition is there. Yes. Compressive stress. So, if it is my metallic bar like this, you are applying force, like you are compressing just that metallic bar, you are compressing with force. So, in this case, same at cross section XX, it will produce counter force, right? It will withstand. Otherwise, if it is not producing counter force, this metal cannot withstand, right? So, this counter force, you can take it as that counter force per unit area. This is also compressive, sigma C. You can write as compressive stress. Same, force per unit area. Yes, is it clear everyone? Then what about third one? Shear stress. What is third one? Shear stress. Yes? Anyone? Shear stress. Just. Now what I'm doing here, just you can take two metallic bars like this. One is one metallic bar is like this, and one more is like this. So here I have rivet. Rivet. So we fixed rivet. So what we are applying here? Same force. Force. Same before, like we already discussed, right? In compressive stress and tensile stress, we are giving equal amount of force on both sides. Okay. One is on this metallic bar 1 and second one is metallic bar 2. Yes. After some time t, what happened? So this Yes. What happened after time t? Because of this tensile force, there is so because of this force, okay, because of this force, what happens? That rivets is going to cause, because of this force, these rivets first fail, right? So if you observe only, if you see the cross section of only that rivet here, so I am drawing here like this. So if you see, if you observe here, so just I am erasing this part. If this is my rivet, this bottom one, I am taking like this. So here, so what is happening at this cross section? At this cross section, yes, forces is acting in this direction, right? Like this. So this force per unit area is nothing but shear stress. What is that? Shear stress. The force per unit cross sectional area of that rivet. Yes, right? That is nothing but shear stress. It is nothing but shear stress. Yes? Are you with me, everyone? So why all these are important? Like, so if you observe, just you will understand when we are discussing aircraft structures too. At the time, these are like basics. So these different type of structures. So when aircraft is flying, okay, when definitely lift and drag forces will create, right? So because of that lift and drag forces and movements, which type of stress will act on which area? Like joints are there, this aircraft wing and the fuselage joints are there. At that joints, which type of stresses will act? Okay, and aircraft, that skin is there, aircraft skin, that wing skin or fuselage skin, on that skin, which type of stresses will generate? Okay, because of these aerodynamic forces, gravitational forces, and yes, propulsive forces. Because of these forces, which type of stresses are forming? So all these things are very important. So these notations, these definitions are very important. So there are three types of stresses. One is tensile stress, second one is compressive stress, and third one is shear stress, right? Yes, everyone? Then we'll go for next topic. What about next one? Stress, like we discussed already, stress. Already we discussed stress. So second one is strain. What is that? Strain. So second one, important one is strain. What is meant by strain? Yes? Everyone? What is meant by strain? Yes. So because of this force, it will elongate, right? So this bar will elongate like this. Otherwise, we'll go for new. Let's see, just we'll take some new figure, like, so it is quite confusing here. You draw on same. So this is my metallic bar. Initially it is like this. Yes. So camera is too far, so I will draw somehow some more bigger. Right? So this is my bar, a metallic bar. So you are acting applying force. So what will happen here? Because of this force, this after time t, this will become like this, right? After time t, this metallic bar will become, there is some elongation, right? So just you can take, this is initial length L of the metallic bar, right? Yes. Because of this force, this tensile force, what is happening? We are getting some elongation. So that is dl. I am taking as dl. Yes. So you can define strain. Strain is nothing but the dl elongation by original length. You can take it like this. So elongation per original length. Yes. Is it clear, everyone? Strain is nothing but elongation by ratio of elongation to original length of the bar, steel bar, right? Yes, everyone? Is it clear? So strain you will represent with epsilon, general notation. You will represent with epsilon, strain. So can anyone tell me what are the units? Units for strain? Yes. For example, we are saying stress, sigma, force by area. Yes. So what about units for this? Stress, you can take it as force units are newtons. You can write meter square. Yes. Then what about units for strain? So see, if you see here, this is length, this is length. So it will be cancel, right? It will be cancel each other. Like so, you can say for strain there is no units. Yes. No units. Just coming to stress, you can say newtons per meter square. You can say newtons per meter square. So if you see clearly, then you have stress, you have strain. Yes. If you keep on increasing this force, if you keep on increasing this force, what will happen? If you keep on increasing stress, if you keep on increasing stress on that particular material, yes, at one point of time it will break. Yes, failure will occur, right? No doubt. But before that, what will happen? If you keep on increasing stress, at the same time strain will also increase. Are you with me, everyone? Just if you keep on increasing stress, then strain will also, yes, strain will also increase. So you can say stress is directly proportional to strain. Yes, stress is directly proportional to strain. Now you can write proportionality constant, some E into epsilon, right? You can write some proportionality constant. So you can write like just you can represent with some constant, proportionality constant. Yes, that proportionality constant I am taking as, generally you can take it as Young's modulus. What is this proportionality constant? We are taking as, this is named as Young's modulus. So E, Young's modulus is nothing but stress by strain, ratio of stress by strain, that is not bad, stress per unit strain. Yes, is it clear? Stress per unit strain, that is nothing but Young's modulus. Next, Poisson's ratio. You can say Poisson's ratio. What is meant by this? You are applying some stress on this member, sorry, on this bar, steel bar. You are applying stress on the steel bar. So you are observing here strain, right? We discussed already this elongation by virginal length. If you observe clearly, see what is happening here. So only in this direction only strain is there. If you observe here also, this is initial thickness, right? This is initial thickness, you can say this is B. After time t, after applying some force, what is happening here? It is decreasing, right? B bar. Are you following? Yes. So this is initial length, final length, right? So what about here? This is initial length after time t. L prime, right? So Poisson's ratio you can represent with mu. This is nothing but lateral strain by longitudinal strain. You can write like that. So lateral strain. So if you observe here, what is happening here? Lateral strain along the, so if it is x-axis, this is y-axis, right? Along the y-axis. So lateral strain. So what is strain here? Yes? You can write B minus B bar by B by L prime minus L bar by L. Yes. So according to your strain definition, so if you write like that, so here you are getting, if you write this, generally we'll take it as Poisson's ratio always kind of positive. So you can take it as, if you are taking like this, okay, no problem. If you are taking B prime minus B, B prime is smaller, right? So at that time you have to use minus sign. So Poisson's ratio you can take it as lateral strain by longitudinal strain. Yes? Everyone, are you with me? Yes. What is happening here? We are defining basic terminology. So basic terminology for structures, aircraft structures. So to define any material, these are the important nomenclature. So stress, what are those things? One is stress, second one is strain, third one is Young's modulus, the fourth one is Poisson's ratio. So in this, again, in stress we can divide into three types. One is tensile, compressive, and third one is shear. Tau, right? Very, very important definitions. Just please be careful, and once again just go through this video. Yes. These are the things, these are the basics for aircraft structures. Yes. Now we'll discuss what are the different components, different components of the aircraft, right? Already we discussed in stability point of view. For example, already we discussed what is rudder. Am I erasing this part? What is rudder? What is elevator? These are also components of aircraft only, but these are related to stability point of view, stability and control, ailerons. Okay, these are in stability and control point of view. Okay. Yes. Are you getting everyone? Then we'll discuss components of aircraft in structural point of view. Yes. Structural point of view. Yes. Can anyone tell me what about different components of aircraft? Yes. Different components of aircraft. Yes, you can split aircraft into majorly. Yes, you can split aircraft into, you can see fuselage. Next, empennage. Yes, you can write like this, right? Next, cockpit. In your syllabus what they given? Cockpit, wing, right? Wing. Here I am writing wing, engines, right? Somehow, some are the components, right? Fuselage, wing, empennage, cockpit, engines, and here they can undercarriage. Okay, so like this there are a lot of components. So you can say fuselage. What is fuselage? Main purpose of fuselage, if you observe, is this is my aircraft. You can take, so this part is like a fuselage, right? This is also like, yes, you can take it as this part as fuselage. So main purpose of fuselage is to carry, the main purpose of fuselage is to carry payload. What is that? Fuselage is to carry payload. You can say payload. You cannot say like passengers, like here if it is civil passenger aircraft, then passengers are the payload. If it is cargo aircraft, you can say that goods as payload. Why we are designing this fuselage? The main purpose of fuselage is to carry payload. Next point is empennage. What about this empennage? Rear, it will start with rear end of the fuselage. Like this here, this thing you can take it as empennage, right? This thing you can take it as empennage. Yes, already we discussed empennage. Tell me everyone, what is the use of empennage? What is the use of empennage? Especially this empennage is consist of tail. So why we are using tail? Why we are using aircraft tail? For stability purpose, right? For stability purpose. So this empennage is nothing but, empennage consists of tails, not tails, tail. So I mean, why I am saying tails? We have horizontal tail and vertical tail also, right? Horizontal tail, this is horizontal tail, this is vertical tail. So you can take it as, so this empennage consists of horizontal tail, horizontal stabilizer, vertical stabilizer, control surfaces, that is nothing but your control surfaces, elevator and rudder and secondary control surfaces. So all this comes under empennage. All this comes under empennage. What about third one? Cockpit. What is cockpit? This is the area, almost front part of the fuselage. This is the area in which pilot will sit and he will control the whole aircraft, right? Here he will sit and he will control the whole aircraft. So it is not only aircraft, you can say any space vehicles also, right? Whole aircraft or space vehicles, you can say spacecraft. So you can write cockpit is, it is the area where pilot will sit and control the whole aircraft or spacecraft. Yes? Are you getting everyone? Yes? What about third one? Fourth one, sorry. Third one is cockpit. Fuselage. Which one have payload carrying capacity, right? Next one is empennage. So rear end of the fuselage. That is nothing but tail, sir, tail. What about cockpit? Pilot will sit and he will control the whole aircraft. What about wing? So we have discussed these things so many times. Wing is, yes, so where we will get aerodynamic forces. So if you want to fly, definitely you need lift force. So this wing will give your lift force. Yes, this wing will give lift force. And what about this engines? Engines will give propulsive force. It is nothing but your thrust. So these two, this combination of these two are very, very important. Without engine, if you have full-fledged airfoil or full-fledged, I mean, very beautifully designed wing, no use. Without, if engine is good and your wing airfoil, that design is not up to the mark, then you don't get sufficient aerodynamic efficiency, right? So both very, very important. Yes, is it clear? So these are the components of the aircraft. So what about the parts of this wing? Is there any parts? I mean, what are the components of wing? Wing also have some components, right? What are the components of the wing? Generally we will say, we are saying like, if this is my airfoil, finally we are extending here like this. So you can take like this. So are you feeling like, so this is aircraft wing, right? So here we have one airfoil and there we have one more airfoil, right? These two airfoils are sufficient. If you observe some aircrafts, that aircrafts are UAVs, unmanned air vehicles, if you see some unmanned air vehicles, so their span of that wing is approximately some 10 meters. Some 10 meters, just take it as like some UAVs, 10 meters. So what is happening here? So we want some more strength, right? For example, if you are giving airfoil here, you are covering with some skin. So in this part, especially if it is 10 meters, here you don't get that airfoil shape, right? Are you getting everyone? Are you getting what I am saying? So if you cover with some skin, This is one airfoil, there one more airfoil. But if you want sophisticated airfoil shape, I mean that wing should be this particular airfoil only. So you have to attach some more airfoils right here like this. Same airfoils, one more airfoil like this. Right? At that time only you will get this shape. So you can say technically these are nothing but your ribs of the ribs. Yes, you can say that is ribs. You can say that is ribs. So for more strength, you are connecting this like this, something. So if you, for more strength, you are giving more strength for this ribs, right? So those things are called as spars. So this, what is this? Spars, right? Are you getting everyone? Yes? Same thing, just think about it. Same concept apply to fuselage. Same thing, you just think about fuselage. What will happen for fuselage? Fuselage. Fuselage. You see fuselage, it will be like this. Something. So here we need some more structures, right? Something like that. So how we are defining like this ribs, that shape. So same thing we need for fuselage also, right? So those things are called as bulkheads. What is that? Bulk heads. Because of this bulkheads only, we will get stiffness for that fuselage, right? We will get stiffness for the fuselage. So there also we have to connect that fuselage, that bulkheads. So you will connect that bulkheads with, what is that? You will connect this bulkheads, right? So I think let's see, just once again we'll write. Are you just imagine just like that? Just see in that perspective. Just simply here in how we are extending this aerofoil shape in third direction, right? So like that, if you extend this fuselage, so you'll get like that. So these things you can call as, here also you need support, right? So you are extending this, like for example, if this is the thing. So you will understand once you are like that. So here we are saying as these are the ribs for airfoil. These things you can call as bulkheads. What about these connecting things? These are called longerons. What is that? Longerons. So you can say that will connect bulkheads. So you can take it as, any other topics we missed? Yes, almost we covered. So still we have 5 minutes, then we'll discuss. There they are given movements. So these are the components of fuselage. Bulkheads and longerons are components of fuselage. Right? So here if you see this ribs and spars. Ribs and spars are the components of wing. Yes, they are the components of wing. Right? Yes. Here they are saying one more concept, that is movements. Movement. Yes. So by this time you completed engineering mechanics, I think. So you just tell me what is movement? Movements. So what are the movements? Already in flight mechanics we discussed, right? So movements. For example, I am arranging this part here. So if you just take this duster, like take this duster. So something rectangular cross section. I am fixing like this here. I am fixing like this. Fixing. So I am fixing this. So you are applying force. I am fixing here. I am applying some force at this end. Right? You are applying some force. You are applying some force. So what will happen if you apply some force? This will deflect, no doubt. Yes. At this joint, what will happen here? There is possibility of generating something, right? That thing we are taking as movement. Technically you can define as this moment is nothing but this applied force into this distance. You can take it as applied force into perpendicular distance. So you can take it as force into length. So this is, you can take it as moments. Right? Are you with me, everyone? Yes. In case of our aircraft, we have 3 types of moments. One is pitching moment. Yes, pitching moment. And second one is rolling moment. And third one is yawing moment. Right? Pitching moment and yawing moment and rolling moment. So if this is my aircraft, here I have wing. So what will happen? Wing is like this. So on wing you are producing one force, that is lift force. So because of this lift force, here we have lift force. Here we have aircraft CG, center of gravity. So between this some length is there, right? Because that lift force and CG, between CG and lift force we have some length. So again same concept, because of force and length there may be possibilities of movement. So here on CG of the aircraft one movement will generate. That movement we can say as pitching. What is that movement name? Pitching moment. What I am saying? Because of that lift force. So see, here we studied topic movement, right? Movement. If you apply that movement concept towards aeronautics, what you are getting? 3 types of movements you are feeling: pitching movement, rolling movement, and yaw movement. So these basics are very, very important for aeronautical engineering, right? So very, very important what we have discussed today's class. Yes, once again you will get in subsequent, I mean next year. You don't worry about that, but just be clear with this basics. If you have any doubt, already you have my mail ID. Once again I am writing here, aknakkala@gat.edu, right? Yes, you can copy that. Yes, you can ask questions, right? If